Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the beautiful planet. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being awesome. If you've been having a rough day or a rough week, it happens. It happens. And so today we're going to talk about how to make that shift for you, for your kiddos, for your spouses, and how to
Spouses,
your
hopefully one spouse.
hopefully you just have one spouse. But you know, change that one. So to feel good, and when you're not feeling good, when things are off, to don't just keep going. Right? If you ever get in a rut or feel like you're in a strange funk or you're just not feeling it, don't keep plowing along with your nose on the pavement because that's just not a fun way to do life.
Well, and
You gotta reset.
that is essentially a framework we want to teach here as we continue talking about the foundational level of physical habits. This is a part of it. Part of the secret to improving our relationships with our teens, improving the mood in the home is to not get in these ruts and then just stay in them. And like you're saying, plowing ahead, even though we feel grumpy or upset or frustrated or irritated. Like there are specific things we can do to change how we feel. And on a very basic physiological level. And if we're more strategic about doing that, it literally makes life and parenting easier. It doesn't have to be so hard if we use the right tools to change what we call your state, change your way of being, change the way you feel. It's so powerful, and yet it's literally so underused.
Underutilized, big time.
Yes, absolutely.
You guys, we were just doing it, literally just doing it right now. We turned on because it's for us and for Gus and others on this side of the world. It's 7 p.m. It's evening time, right? And so I'm like, oh man, we've had a long day. I've been working hard and
It's time
all
for
this stuff. It's like
a movie
it's time
or
to sit down.
something.
And and then we're like, no, let's go. So we turned on some music and we were just sitting here bouncing and dancing and having
And
fun. And
there's actually science if you like pat your body. I'm doing it now, patting your chest. Like there's science behind that. It helps to like wake you up and generate more energy and more positive feelings.
It feels so
So
good.
simple things like that can help to switch things around. And we just have to set reminders. Remember to use these types of tools so that if we feel grumpy, we feel off, you don't have to just keep going that way. You don't have to keep parenting that way. You can make yourself, well, you can do things to help yourself legitimately feel better. And then that's the place you come from to parent.
You can
Because your
literally
parenting is going to be better if you're feeling better.
and you can literally change your mood in moments.
Yes.
It doesn't have
Your
to be
favorite
like
song and some dance.
next week. Because something rude happened. So
Therefore,
I'm going to be grumpy this whole rest of the week. This is going to be a terrible weekend because somebody cut me off in traffic or my kid was being snotty and screamed and said, I'm the worst parent ever and I hate you. Like, great. That goes the whole rest of my year. Right? We get a change. We get a switch.
right.
Say.
Good. And this framework, we're shifting frameworks here. And so this framework is also important. We all think, yeah, I want my kids to have discipline. I want them to have grit. I want them to work hard. But we think that that's going to come from pushing through, from nose to the grindstone type stuff, when in reality, just like we just barely talked about, when we can help our children to shift their state, the way they feel, it's so much easier to help teach them to do hard things, to have discipline, to have grit. But it comes first from the way of being, from the state, from the physical and physiological changes. That is why neon signs, we're talking about this foundational level because it is the foundation for everything. You experience life through your body. And if you can learn to change the state of your body and help your children learn to change the state of their body, everything else in life is easier and better. That is why we are discussing this level. And it's so important. Okay.
It makes sense, right, guys? Like if you're just laying on the couch, sprawled out,
Or your teen is.
or and you're just like, and you're just sitting there thinking about everything's rotten. It's a terrible, no good, horrible day, cloudy and rainy and cold. Nobody likes me. How are you gonna feel? You're gonna feel terrible. Right? If your child's doing that, they're just sitting there on the floor, it's so terrible. And you're like, well, yeah, look at yourself. Look at you. No wonder you feel like that. Look at that. So if you stand up, bounce around a little bit, put on
some music,
song, repeat some affirmations or declarations you have, some mantras, and just get excited, like, let's go. And boom, you change your state. You feel so much better.
And it's easier to do hard things from that state. We often feel that doing hard things means we have to feel miserable while we're doing it. That's not true. The secret to doing hard things is to actually be in a good mood while you're doing them. And then doing the hard things is easy because you feel good and you feel motivated about doing it. That's the secret. That's how our children, literally our 18 and 19, our 18 and 19-year-old summited Kilimanjaro. No, wait, she was 17. She's 18 now. Our 17 and 19-year-old summited Kilimanjaro. They trekked in Nepal. Like, they have done all of these very hard things, and they did it with a smile on their face, singing songs, because they've learned to do hard things, and that the secret to doing it is to be in a good mood. That's the secret. So how do you get to being in a good mood? How do you get to changing your state? That's what we're talking about when we're discussing. Let's look at the pyramid 1 second. When we're discussing the foundational habits of physiological routines and physical habits, right? That is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Literally changing the physiology of the body. That's just a fancy way of saying changing your state, changing your attitude, changing how you feel. When you learn to do this, everything else in life and in family gets easier because everyone's in a better mood. All of these other levels are literally so much easier because your mood is better and their mood is better. And it's so much easier to work with each other and to do everything else you have to do when you're in a better mood. And that comes from this state first. Okay, so.
Who has experienced this before? That it's so much easier to do things when you feel better. Anybody? Your body's feeling better, if your mind's better. Yeah, that anybody had kids to do that? Like, kids in a good mood, and you ask them to do something, they're like, yeah, of course, I'll totally do it. And they go do it, and then they're in a bad mood. You're like, hey, and you're like pins and needles.
Could you please?
Would it be okay if I asked you to clean up your mess? No, you're the worst human on the planet. Right?
How could you?
So you guys, you get this. You get this.
Yes.
And you felt the same way. So if ever you're in that low state, or your kids are, you're like, wait a minute, let's change the state first, then do the chore, task, errand, etc.
And so essentially that's what all of this is about. Last week, what we discussed and what we're going to be continuing to discuss this week, it's all about changing your state ultimately, or being able to be in the most optimized state most of the time. And it is possible. It sounds crazy at first, and it seems like so much work, but I promise with practice, it gets easier and it becomes more natural. Now, of course, they say, well, what if they resist? Even if you change your state, that's normal. Especially if it's a new thing, they're going to be like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you
using drugs?
Yeah. What's going on here? You have to make it habitual. You have to make it just a part of your way of being, where you're like, okay, I feel off. I'm going to put on some music. And guess what? Then eventually they're the ones doing it. We literally have our 20-year-old. He's like the family DJ. He gets music and he loves music. And so he knows the power of it, and he puts on the songs at the times when the family's just kind of feeling like, we're all dragging, whatever. He puts on the music and it changes the mood for everybody. It's that simple and it's that powerful. So, and especially with teenagers, like that's a fantastic way to do it. Let them put on some music and you start dancing. My kids love it when I start dancing to their music.
Mostly because they like to laugh at us. So we're
Yeah.
providing a humorous show. We're providing the comedy show.
Yes.
They're dancing around and we are too. And they're like, oh man, this is embarrassing.
But
and
they love
funny.
it though. And it makes everyone feel lighter and happier and better. So, that's one simple way is figure out, okay, what's the thing that helps to change my child's state
And
quickly?
it might be unique to each child.
Mhm.
It might be a different song. Like if you guys are rocking out to your
80s.
80s rock,
And they're like,
you're like, I'm feeling it, and your kids are like,
okay.
Your taste in music sucks. Then find something that
they like.
Right. It
Right.
doesn't have to be like terrible, filthy, explicit garbage. And you're like, okay, this makes you want to like go beat your head on the wall or something. Find something that they'll laugh at. Even like we found, like we'll find cheesy songs accidentally. We just found this one from like the 70s.
Oh yeah, that was good.
We're gonna share it with you guys. It was about cleaning up.
Right.
And we were like,
this is a perfect song.
Like for little kids, it was perfect. And so find the music, do the thing. Maybe it's a motivational speech and you just practice this. You
Or a
just turn
poem.
it on and they're sitting in the corner like, I refuse to be in a good mood. And so you don't say anything. You don't say, hey, I want you to listen to this. You just turn on a really great podcast or video. You pick something that's inspiring, uplifting, and they're listening. And you're planting seeds for transformation and change.
Mhm. But we have to remember, because you're saying if they resist, we have to remember that seeds take time to grow. You have to nurture them. You have to water them. You have to make sure they have light. Like it's the same idea, similar process. We're nurturing seeds, and so we have to be giving them the right ingredients and allow them the time to grow instead of pulling them out of the ground and saying, "Oh, they're not growing yet," and now you just killed it, right?